Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our BYOD session on iOS Mobile Storychasing. My name is Wes Fryer, and I hail from Oklahoma City. Joining me is
Dana Owens DeLong. I'm also from Oklahoma City. It's actually a little small suburb, but we'll just say Oklahoma City. That makes it close enough. And I'd like to introduce my student from Southwestern Christian University. She's a pre-service teacher, and so this is her first INSTI conference. And this is Callie Hollis. There you go. We have it figured out that in fall 2015, she'll be teaching. Right. And so her little brain has just been exploded over the last 3 days. I didn't tell her so much about this place and the conference. So she's making a list of all the things that I should have told her that she's going to tell the next group of students. And I think the top of the list has been absolutely awesome walking shoes. There you go. Absolutely. And a backpack, and I'm not sure what else she came up with, but.
And I'll share what a thrill it is to do this with Dana, because we have different folks in our lives that are very important, and ever since I moved to Oklahoma about 8 years ago, Dana has been a mentor for me. I would not have finished my doctorate and done so many things if it was not for this amazing woman, and she also is great about being wise with time when it comes to presentation. So what we hope to do today is talk about story chasing and do story chasing. And we're going to encourage everybody to share in 4 different ways. Dana, what is story chasing? What does it mean?
Well, it's just real simple. It's chasing stories. And it's telling. You know, have you ever had a grandmother that, you know, had a story about her life, or or there's a family story that's been passed down, or there's something really unique happening to you? You know, we need to capture those, and we need to share them. My great-grandmother took me to go dig for rose rocks when I was a little girl. And where I live in Oklahoma City, south is a little town called Noble. And you go and you dig in the dirt, and you come up with a rock that looks like a rose. Well, this is the only place on the face of the earth where those exist. That's a story. That's a story. So it can be something very personal, but it can be very educational. It can be anything that you want to capture and share with someone else. And technology allows us to do that on the fly, in just a minute, in just a blink of the eye. But then what we capture can last for an eternity and benefit everyone.
We had a few storms this last month you may have heard about. So you've heard of storm chasers, and that can be dangerous, right? In fact, we saw, I think, a CNN crew that had some trouble. Story chasing, we don't want it to be dangerous, but using these tools, we have to have a lot of responsibility and make good choices because of the tools that we have. And that's kind of where the Story Chaser organization came from, this whole idea. So today we're going to challenge you to share text, images, audio, and video. And we've created 4 specific challenges. And they're going to be quick challenges. And what we hope we'll be doing is modeling how you can do this with your students, with your faculty, with your family, with your community groups, in order to be able to share things on a mobile basis, but also aggregate them or bring them together on a site that will be moderated. And that means that we'll get to approve those. So for every one of our challenges, Dana, how are they going to share it?
Well, you're actually going to email them to wfryer.isti13@blogger.com. And that's how we're going to be able to pull them all together and then ultimately show you an aggregated list. One of the things that I didn't say when he asked me about story chasers, we do have professional development. We have workshops in the state of Oklahoma, Texas, and Kansas right now for classroom teachers, just how to become story chasers. And so we teach teachers, and then they work with students. And so we're both educators, and I've been doing it for 36 years. And so I say that, really? Okay, it scares me when I say that, because that's kind of about how old I feel. We help them help their students capture stories, and the biggest benefit are the stories that the students capture. So this is what you kind of jot that down somewhere. It'll show back up on the screen, but that's how you're going to submit it. And also, this is going to be kind of like, if you think this is like the high-end guru workshop, it's not. This is what you would do if you were a 3rd grader. So if you're feeling like you've got about the brain power of a 3rd grader, or maybe first grader. It is the third day of the conference. Then you're going to be fine. So this is just going to be a nice, basic, get her done kind of a thing. Because I went to BYOD on Monday, and I'd signed up for it, and I was all excited, and my iPad was all charged and ready to go, and we never touched it. So we're going to touch things. So I don't know if that was just an isolated experience for me, but I know how I like to get in and go. All right.
And also, this is not going to be an email that comes to me. This is called a secret, which we're not very secret anymore, but it's a secret email that the Blogger website we've made shares. And you can put in, we put in ISTE 13 as the secret part. So we've set this up so that every time you email text, which can include links or pictures, it will be a draft post on our site, and then we'll approve it. And that's the same thing we'd recommend for classroom teachers. So you'll be able to see results on the website, iste13.blogspot.com. And so these links and these instructions are on our website, which we had up earlier, which is also on the planning guide. But we're going to be able to see each other's results. And as you finish one of these challenges, we're going to encourage you to check it out. I'll be moderating it quickly so it gets posted. And then you can comment if you'd like to on what other people have done. So, Dana, what's a quick challenge?
It's just fast. Don't think. Remember,
A little bit of thinking.
Oh, Wes always wants you to think. So just do it really quick. And so the next slide that's going to come up is why did you come to ISTE? It's not a dissertation. It's just a little quickie, and it's a way to demonstrate how we can use text to just answer a quick question. So what device are they going to use, Wes? You're
going to use your email. So for each one of these, we'll do probably a little quick demo, and I'll bring this email address up. But basically, I want you to open up your email account. I don't even know if I need to demo this part. The key is for the subject line, please make the subject line of your email, why I came to ISTE by your name. And you're going to be emailing it to that address. So we're going to give you a little bit of time for each one of these challenges. In fact, maybe we should put on some music.
Why I came to ISTE.
Yes. How many of you have done this before? You've had students email in content and you've moderated it. Has anybody done that? Okay, a couple people have. So it's Posterous was one of my favorite sites that died, this last year. But you can use a Blogger account very similarly to how we use Posterous, except that it will only take photos as attachments. So right now you're just sending text and you're going to be emailing. So one of the things to think about if we're talking about iPads and iOS devices, how many of you have a cart of iPads that is available to check out? One of the things we learned in Yukon schools this last year was we needed an email account for the cart. Because one thing apps can do well usually is send email. If they send anything out, they can email. So we asked our IT department, can you please give us an email account for each iPad cart that we have? Now, Tony Vincent on his website, Learning in Hand, posted a few months ago a nice trick that on a Gmail account, you can actually set up a filter so it just trashes the incoming mail. And that way the students, even if they check the mail, they're not going to get mail on that account because this is strictly a sending account.
So let's kind of think. If you're in a classroom and you are going to let your students use their phones, they could use their phones. They may have email on there. If you're in a classroom and they have their own devices, then maybe they can open up either one and send this email. If you've got one iPad for the whole class, you can put your students in groups, and the group would answer a question. And instead of it being an individual name, it can be the group's name. And maybe you hand it off. And maybe you set things up as multiple activities so that 3 groups aren't waiting for one group to get finished.
So to show you kind of what's happened, I've logged into the Blogger account and switched over to the laptop. And you can see that there's all these draft accounts or these draft posts that have come in. Now, usually, I'm going to read these and look at them before they come up. So I'm trusting all of you.
We're going to assume that none of you said anything naughty.
And the thing is, these are all going to say by Wes Fryer. So I'm taking a lot of risk here.
But I've taught middle school. So anybody teach middle school? Or back when the Oregon Trail first came out and they had those tombstones, oh my gosh, they would write so many inappropriate things on the tombstones. I had to figure out there was a little secret code you could do to erase them. So it's nice that we had those experiences because now there's devices like this that will allow you to look at things first.
So we've now posted, I think we had maybe 5 practice posts, and so now we've got 33 posts that are there. Now one disadvantage, good, enviado desde mi iPad. What does enviado mean? I mean, desde mi iPad means about the iPad. What does enviado mean?
Sent from my iPad. So,
okay, so
if you had your students out in the field,
we might need
this could be a way to chase stories with just text. They're on a field trip, they're at the zoo, they need to talk, you've given them 7 animals they have to do a story about. If you only want a story chase with text, it's an option, and it's a valuable piece of a story. So this would be one way to collect the text, and it can either be individual stories. This could be one piece of what we're going to add some more pieces to. All right, tell me, maybe there's like 3 people in here that have a good idea on how this might be useful in a classroom and story chasing. Any thoughts? Dun, 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 dun.
Why don't we do this? Let's do a quick turn, pair, and share. You may not have introduced yourself to your neighbor. We're going to give you about 60 seconds. Introduce yourself to your neighbor and talk about how you might use this in the classroom.
There you go. And you guys can be 3. Pardon?
Do you want me to answer how would this
Yes,
appear
yes.
in the email?
Yes, that'd be great. Are you able to pull up all those answers collaboratively? Yeah, you can. Okay. As soon as you get an idea, turn around and send the email, and we'll post them all up here. Okay, if you have an idea, send an email, and we'll see we'll see how you have come up with. We've got 25 seconds left. Finish your talking.
Wow.
All right. Put an idea up there, and let's see what we get collectively. You've got a few seconds left. If you heard a really good idea about how just text. See, we're going to start basic. Just start basic, because sometimes that's all you've got, or that's all you have time for. And we're going to add to it. So.
Okay. This is a little free app called Timer Plus. I like it's a way to do those timers. So we have, in a really short amount of time, 49 posts that are up there. I do absolutely recommend that you moderate posts, and we'll have a link to this, but on the settings of your blog, when you set up Blogger, there's a little place that says Mail and Email. And this is where you choose to enable posting using email, and then you select what you'd like your secret address to be. So you do not need to do draft. If you're doing this truly as a secret and it's for you, you can say publish immediately, and then your work can immediately go on the web. But it is not a good idea with students ever in the litigious society we're in to do that. And so we highly recommend that you turn on the post moderation. One of the things this models is there's never enough time for everybody to share in class. Yes? Really? And that was after two posts?
It says you exceeded the allowable number of posts without solving a captcha.
Okay, so then you just probably need to put in do you have a captcha?
I just said email, no. I don't even know what a captcha is.
A captcha is where you prove you're not a robot. Okay, wow. Huh, did anybody else get that?
All right.
I hadn't seen that before. So did anybody else get that message? Okay, well hopefully I've never seen a limit like that with email, so that's a little strange. I'm not exactly sure why that happened. So we'll troubleshoot it. Let's see if you can continue to post or how that works. Okay, so any questions anybody would like to ask about that first activity where we just posted but by email.
Okay, let's go on.
All right, we're going to go on to challenge number 2. So what we would like to do now is a photo challenge. Dana, what's the photo challenge?
Well, you should have some device with you that takes a picture. So we want you to use it to take a picture of a tech accessory that you have. And it can be something simple, or some of you have some really interesting tech accessories. That's one of my areas of expertise. I seem to be a little bit obsessive when it comes to... And so you have a few minutes here to find one. Just decide. Maybe it's a quick challenge. If you don't have one, your friend might have 2, or just be creative, and go for it.
And let's be clear, when you attach an email, Blogger, like Posterous used to, will post that picture. It will host it for us. If you do a 5-photo story project or something with more than one image, you probably will not want you or your students to send them in full resolution. You can choose the size. Because we're only sending one picture, we won't run into that difficulty. But you can send multiple pictures. And by the way, this may be something to just go ahead and show really quickly. When you take a picture on your iPad or your iPhone or iPod Touch, you're going to have those images go into your camera roll, and you can save things in your camera roll. If you want to send more than one picture, which we're not going to do today, we're just going to be sending one, you can click Edit and click all the pictures you'd like to send. That's how you can turn in a 5-photo story. You select those pictures, you say Share, and I want to share it to Mail. And it's going to open a new mail message that's going to have all 5 of those pictures that you've attached on that one message. Now, as a little trick, something you might consider.
All right, we're gonna do that one more time. Okay? So we're going to do it one more time slowly. So we've all probably taken a picture and sent it, through email to someone. Well, this is a way to send more than one image at a time, rather than multiple emails. So when you're in your camera roll and you're seeing all of your pictures, you can actually go to Edit, and you do the little check mark thing, selecting. You can select more than one picture.
And what I wanted to warn you about is, if you're doing more than one, you'll run into some limits. Email accounts will sometimes only accept attachments up to 25 megabytes, and then you actually could run into something on the Google end of things.
Okay.
For this assignment, though, we just want you to send one picture. I am going to point out, though,
And we need the email address up real
yeah,
quick.
I'll pop it right back up. If you want to choose the order when you're sending more than one picture, you can create an album on your iPad, and then you can reorder those, and they'll be sent in that order. But for this activity, you're just going to have one picture. You're going to choose to send it, and you're going to share it back to the same wfryer.sd13@blogger.com. When you title your
The subject.
post, yes, that's going to be the subject line. We'd like you to put the name of the accessory. So if I'm going to take a picture of an iRig mic, or this really awesome stand that you've got here, or this padded case that Maria has, just put,
Or a picture of your
case.
Starbucks cup,
That's right.
because that is the most essential technology accessory. Because without it, nothing else happens.
Okay. Did you click Edit? Now, yeah, click Edit, and now tap on all the pictures you want. Okay? And then you can click Share. That's something a lot of people don't realize, and it's a very powerful way to have students share multiple images.
Who's got the coolest tech accessory? Who's got one that I don't have? Let me see. Ooh, looky here. Oh, my goodness. She's got a bag full. I like it. I've got a bracelet that talks to my cell phone. And so I'll have my cell phone in my purse on silent, and my bracelet, one bead will vibrate. Oh, yeah, it's awesome. It also has an option to flash, which is really quite obnoxious. So if you're in a meeting and the whole point was not to disturb and your bracelet starts flashing, that really doesn't really help. But it's cool.
So you all got errors that you'd exceeded the... Okay, so here's our Google challenge. Somebody in the room, help us figure out how do you put in a Google captcha challenge when you're sending an email.
Okay, so what you're saying is they can't send a second email to the account? Oh, okay.
All right.
then
so what I
we will
think-
not worry. So here's the deal.
We'll figure it out.
That Wes can figure it out. And while you're doing that, Wes, I'm going to talk a minute.
Well, okay. What I
Or
was
do you
gonna
need to talk?
Okay.
No, you can.
Let's try, instead of doing ISTE 13, let's try ISTE 2013, and we'll see if that makes a difference when we change the number. We had not.
I think that it doesn't like it when we have that many from coming in. So he's changing the email address so that you won't get blocked, and he's kind of doing it
don't
on
know
the
if that'll-
fly.
Okay. Yes. So what we need
If you did not get a message, then you are fine. If you got a message, we have a backup plan.
Well, we're just going to troubleshoot this. Has anybody run into this before? I haven't either. Is this
Okay.
going to happen to you when you're trying new things?
No.
Probably so.
All right. So now you have 2 email options.
Well,
If yours went through before, you don't need to worry about it.
nobody's did.
No one's did. All right. No, if you already have it on your phone. So, honestly, when it comes to story chasing and capturing things, you now can send your students out. And one of the really neat things to do with students is to say, go get 5 images on your device, either individually or in a group. And those 5 images are supposed to tell a story. So this multiple selection option comes in real handy when you want to send 5 images. And we've set up the Blogger account so that it can be a collecting source for you to see it. There's lots of other ways to do this. If you're doing it in a classroom and you're not setting up a Blogger account that works so effectively right now, then you can just you can have them send it back to school emails to themselves individually, and so it becomes a collecting process. So if they're going to start actually creating a final story, the first might be some text, or it might be the last thing. The pictures might be the first thing that they collect, because then the third area we're going to move to is the audio. And the audio is to get some voice recordings, all right? Because basically, these can each one be used independently, or you can bring them all together as a collective project.
Okay.
So
We're going to see if this works.
Okay.
There's a setting on the website that says to show word verification. Word verification is a CAPTCHA to try to reduce spam. So go ahead and send your image again
to which one?
to our new address, the new address that we sent, which was the 2013. And let's see if we can.
So it's not that one. It's the 2013 instead. And the westfire.iste2013 is now the one that he has changed the settings on so that you should be able to get through. So how is that working? Thumbs up? Yeah, I like that. Thank you. Thumb down.
Down over here.
Still the same message? Okay, there you go. I love
Okay.
technology.
Now, there's different reasons you can get errors. Sometimes it happens because of
Well, let's
attachment
go on
sizes
to
and
the
other things.
audio. Okay, and we'll just bail on Blogger.
Well, we're going to get that figured out. I'm going to have the solution. I mean, seriously, does this happen to you when you try something new? When you're on the bleeding edge and you're trying something new, this stuff happens. And there's going to be a solution. I promise you, somebody else has run into this before. We can Google the answer and find it. But Dana's right. Let's go on to our next one, because our next challenge, my mirroring is going to work, our next challenge is going to involve audio. Have any of you used Audio Boo before? All right. There are different ways that you can get students to record their voice and share their ideas. One way is to use a tool called Audio Boo, and one of the great things about Audio Boo is that you can use an app, or you can use the web interface. There's a lot of different ways that you can do it. So we're using Haiku Deck for our presentation. It didn't seem like there was a way to forward through that, so I wonder why that's blank. All right, what we'd like for you to do is we have set up an AudioBoo channel for our entire workshop. There are disadvantages to all using the same username and password. What would one of those be? What's that? It might be that everybody's trying to log in at the same time. I have had like 40 teachers at once use an AudioBoo account. This may be the most we've ever tried, so this will be a test. We'll see. But some websites don't work well when a lot of people log in. What else is dangerous about giving out an account ID and password? Somebody could get in and delete something. So the way we have used AudioBoo in this way is we have put the username and password in on the cart so that it's logged in. So we're not putting it up on the board to tell everybody. The question we'd like you to answer with audio in a short, it has to be less than 3 minutes, but I'd say maybe 30 to 60 seconds, is what do you love about teaching? And so if you have not downloaded the AudioBoo app, you're going to want to do that. And let me show you on the AudioBoo site where that is, because there are a couple different AudioBoo apps, and the one that you want is the classic iPhone app, which is a little confusing if you're using an iPad. But AudioBoo has several, and the iPad app, interestingly, doesn't let you record, and we just certainly don't want that. So there's several ways to do this. It might be easiest if you're in Safari to just visit audioboo.fm, and it has a link that says download the app, except there are about 6 choices. The one that we recommend is the second one, and it's called the Classic Edition, iOS AudioBoo Classic Edition. When you push that button, and we're going to give you some time to do this. This won't take longer than our text. You will see the link to install it. This is a free app to install, but you need to put in a username and password. Can anyone guess what Dana and I may have used for our username and password? ISTE13. ISTE13 is both the username and the password for our account. Now, why do you usually not want to use the same thing for your username and password?
Which one? Second one.
It's so easy to guess. So we're trying to model a lot of the things that we want you to do, like moderating content, but there are some other things that we would recommend that you change, and that would include using a more secure password. The AudioBoo application is an iPhone app. That means it's going to look small, and you can press 2x here in the corner to make it larger. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to go to Settings. So they have a, what is that, cover flow-like thing here at the top. And you go all the way to the side to the Settings gear, and you're going to want to log into our account. If you've already logged into yours, as I have, you'll log out of your account, and you'll log in to ours. And who can remember our username and password? All right. Were you able to log in? Did that work?
All right. My guess is that some people are in or some are not. So do a neighbor check.
Yeah, I want you to. Here's why I want you to log into our account. And I'll back up to show this again, and we'll wander around and help. And we're going to give you a little more time for this, because doing the audio and doing the video is going to take more time. We have configured our AudioBoo account to automatically post to our Blogger site, which is pretty cool. So the email problem that we just had should not be an issue for this, because the audio is going to immediately post. There are different websites that this works for. And this can be nice because it can take out the steps, take out the clicks. Just record your voice, and it's going to go up there. So how many of you are still, you haven't downloaded AudioBoo yet? Is there a few of us that are like that? Okay. What I would recommend, and we'll help you because we'd like everybody to be successful recording your audio today.
It's working.
The question was, can you send it through another app? I would like for you to use AudioBoo. I mean, you could, but one of the reasons I'd like you to use AudioBoo is this will aggregate or collect all of our audio in the same channel. And since we had the email difficulty, it may not work to email the link. We'll work on figuring that out, but I may not be able to do that in the next 30 minutes. AudioBoo is very, very powerful because audio can be recorded and handled so much more easily than video. Video takes a lot of file size. You have to worry about more things. So if you go to the AudioBoo site and you click on the app, that's where we're going to choose the second choice, the AudioBoo Classic. If you search the iTunes store, you're going to find multiple choices, and it just might be more confusing. So I recommend clicking it there and going to it.
If you still need help, raise a hand, and I'll come around.
Correct. It lets you listen to, but not create, and so that's why we recommend. And they're supposedly working on this. This is a UK-based company, and they are.
And the nice thing is that since it is made for the iPhone, you can use it on either device, as long as you get the right one. And it does take a little bit of time to get it set up initially. But when we get everybody set up, you're going to find that it's a real powerful tool. And these are all free, and so that makes it nice also.
These are the kind of things, too, that you'll set up in advance. You'll practice that, and ideally, this won't be the part of what we're doing now, logging in. It's something that you could do. You could have a parent assistant, somebody to help you do, and then your devices are ready to go.
And the username and the password are identical, ISTE13, in both places.
I'm going to do a quick demonstration of how to record, and then Dana and I are going to help you successfully record, because we're probably going to give at least 10 minutes for us to work on this, and then be able to listen to each other, because this should not only let us, of course, hear our own, but we can go to the website and see what other people have done and play theirs. When you press the record button at the bottom that's green, it doesn't start. It just brings up the recording screen. The red record button is what makes it really start recording, and it gives you a 3, 2, 1 countdown. You have 3 minutes of free recording time on every AudioBoo, and you can do an unlimited number. So you can fill up your account. Now, some teachers that'll have a lot may want to create a different account, and that can be an issue. But when you click record, it's going to start. So our question was, why? What do I love about teaching? Right? So I press record, and it's going to count down. One of the things I love the most about teaching is when students realize their voice is powerful and their words are powerful, and that others will pay attention to what they say, whether those words are hurtful or they build others up. And that's one of the things I love about teaching, is helping kids discover how they can positively use their voice. So I push pause, and now if I want to, I can go ahead and play this, and it will, if I plug in my audio here to my Apple TV again.
So, while he's doing that, think about this. That very first thing we did that was the email text, that really could have been your script that you would have had them in class think about first, about what they would say on the recording. If you really wanted to connect those two things, so that first they're typing it out, maybe sending it back to themselves. Then you're going to take the 5 pictures because you're telling a story, and now you're doing the audio. Maybe you pull your script back up, and then that's what you read, so that you're getting some higher quality audio recordings. And so you're building a digital story by using multiple tools, or each one independently is fine. The AudioBoo, once you get it installed, you can use effectively. I would say that probably the biggest disadvantage in a classroom is everybody talking at once.
But the good thing is, we've done it with 25 kids in the room reading their poetry. And yes, you hear the background noise. This was 6th graders last semester. But you hear them. I mean, you don't have to get a special microphone. It's not a perfect recording. But it's good enough that you hear that student, and it's not like there's a train going by. So it's a factor. I'm going to push play. One of the things I love the most about teaching is when students realize I hear that, and if I'm good with that, I click publish. If I'm not, I click cancel, and I can delete the draft. So students have a chance to record as many times as they want. I'm going to go with this and click Publish. And now I have a chance, if I want, to add 3 things. I could add a photo, but in this case, we're really not going to worry about that. And I'll just say, what Wes loves about teaching. And if you would want to have more information, you can. You can put a description and tags. But we'll just put that as a title, save and upload, and then that audio boo, as long as we're connected to the internet, uploads to the internet, it's available. Last summer I went on a 2-week backpacking trip, took my iPhone, wasn't connected at all, did an audio reflection every day at the end, and when we were connected to the internet again, they all uploaded. So Audio Boo's feature to do this offline and then upload is really good. Just make sure you log in to the right account, because we've had situations where in class we forgot to log out and then, oh, what's all this? You know.
So there are some mechanics. So think about even coming to a conference like this. If you, after every session, you just sat there and recorded your thoughts, your reflections, and sent it to your account, you would then keep an audio library of everything that happened. Because like right now, I can't remember what happened on Monday. It's just a whole blur. But there was some good stuff on Monday. I need to have that. And it's so much faster to talk than it is to try to write. I know they have QR codes. I know they have handouts sometimes. I know they give you websites. But there's still an overwhelming amount of information to process. And what makes it important for me are my thoughts on it, even if I verbally give those websites back to myself. So it's like the high-tech way to talk to yourself. All right? Go. Do your audio boost. 1, 2, 3, go.
Is there a way to delete?
Just cancel. If you've published it already, we'll have to. If you published it, we'll have to delete it on the web page.
But you can do another
there.
one. So if you already published it, we'll have to delete it from the common account. But you can do another one.
Well,
What I like about teaching is just seeing the students' faces when they discover new things, their aha moments.
The thing that I love most about teaching is learning along with the students.
what's that?
Is that coming through you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to say,
Do you want me to
they're
wait?
still trying to record. I know. I was going to say turn it off for a minute. They're still trying to record.
Okay.
They're getting. I've been talking to people about. Oh, are you still recording? If you're still recording and my voice is making you upset, raise your hand. Okay. So here's some of the questions that were coming. That 3-minute time limit, it's not a collective. It's on one recording. So that's why you can go in and make a recording, make a recording, make a recording, make a recording. Okay? It's just a file size limitation. It doesn't want to mess with. Then there were some questions about, this is an AudioBoo account that we set up just for this and gave all of you guys the username and the password. So it's all going into AudioBoo. On the first round, we had kind of done the same thing with Blogger, and it was fussy. It shouldn't have been, but it is. And technology's like that. So there's something in the settings that has to be fixed. But AudioBoo had the ability to feed through to Blogger.
Right. What I'd like to show you really quick is how in AudioBoo, and this is something you do have to do on a laptop or a desktop, you can create something called a board, and that board can include all your AudioBoos. So we have a lot of AudioBoos that folks just recorded and created. And some people put some pictures with theirs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click this plus board, and I'm going to say add to board. So I can do this for all of the AudioBoos that we created today. And this is just going to basically create a set or a collection of those. And that set can be embedded on a web page, or it can just be a link that you send to parents or that you put on your website. And it is a nice way to collect or to aggregate your AudioBoos. You can, just as we are right now, have parents and students come to the AudioBoo site. But the best way to share media, I think, is to use your class website and to embed your class website, or to embed media on your class website. So I didn't do all of those yet, but I just have 8. And so here are those 8 AudioBoos that are added to this particular board. There's code. It looks scary, but you can just copy it, and then this code you can put into your site. When I click play, it'll just go through all those AudioBoos. What I love about teaching is the aha moments.
What I love most about teaching are those aha moments. And the question was,
is this the code for the whole board? And the answer is yes.
Or in my
so once you create the board, and then you get the link, then you can put it into your web page.
So this is a really powerful way to amplify your student voices, or this could be a trip a field trip you take for school, a church mission trip. Different people record a reflection. You do it there right after you were at the zoo. And then after you get back, you can have this board, and it could have, 5, 15, and that audio can be embedded right on your site so that people can click it, play it, and hear it. And there's a lot of different tools for doing audio, but my favorite for this kind of quick sharing is AudioBoo. And you can also, like we said, put a picture with it. When kids draw a picture, they can make narrated art. They can describe their audio. There's good possibilities.
I'd like for you to turn and share. Turn and talk about this. How would you use it? Have you used it before? What are some other things you did? How could you start? And just start processing this. 1, 2, 3, you get 2 minutes. Go. Talk to somebody. Visit with somebody next to you. Make a new friend. Okay. You're going to need to talk to him.
Oh,
he doesn't have a friend.
Absolutely. We did it this year with Phil. I think so. I think so. Let's look. Okay, let's answer a few questions and have a few people share. One of the questions that just came up was, can you download the AudioBoo as an MP3? I remember. When you are on your channel and you just have audioboo.fm/your name, there's a nice link here on the side for iTunes. And to subscribe. And the easiest way, if you want to just get all those MP3s, is you subscribe in iTunes, and it lets you click, 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 and you can download them all and then move those off. That's the fastest way I've found to get the MP3 audio files. Maria had a great idea. She, you want to share your idea?
About Mother's Day?
About Mother's Day?
So I was thinking that if each child in my class, I'm kindergarten, so if each child in my class shared a story about their mom with AudioBoo, we could take a digital photo, or it could go with a photo, but then moms love to hear what other kids say about their moms too, so it'd be one aggregate, a place to collect all those stories.
Yeah, I got big points as a mother-in-law. I got all 4 grandkids to record a Mother's Day, greeting to their mom. Yeah, and then I sent it to her. Woohoo! And I need mother-in-law points. I'm telling you. Okay, so that's a great idea.
We've got about 9 minutes.
I know. So there is a lot. This is very powerful. So now we started out really like, oh yeah, right, an email. But can you see how some of this all builds and correlates together? So with your students, I think it's real important for you to lay a foundation and have a structure and tie it back to your curriculum and to some of the standards and some of the things you're trying to accomplish in the classroom. And that early email can be a real important link to where you're setting the structure. It's not particularly fancy or flashy. Everybody's kind of doing the ho-hum thing. So the focus can be on your content and really structuring whatever your project's going to be. But it becomes a real valuable piece. And maybe in any way you can think of it, maybe if nothing else, a script for the audio so that you have a plan rather than just getting a lot of. But sometimes it's nice to just take it free. And that really helps when you're interviewing a grandparent who's telling a story, and it's very unobtrusive. Some of the things to think about, one of the questions posed up here, if you have students that you want to start creating electronic portfolios with, this could be an account that could follow them through years, and maybe it's their reflections. There's going to be some questions that we couldn't answer up here, like how would this compare to Evernote? Evernote does have a recording feature, which would be the more appropriate. So you kind of have to do what's our end result? What is it we want on the end, and use that to work backwards for decision making.
And the biggest difference there is sharing. These are for open sharing. Your kids don't have to identify their name. They don't have to take their picture. You can do the Mother's Day podcast, and they could use aliases, but I guarantee you mom's going to find out, which one they need to listen to. So you've got choices about that, and AudioBoo is going to support public sharing versus Evernote, which you're going to have to do some tweaking to say, I want to share that note.
I'm glad that we were so successful with AudioBoo. The fourth piece is video. And if AudioBoo took a little while to get everybody really getting their hands around, video would be another whole hour. All right, so since we don't have a whole other hour, we're just going to show you, and Wes is just going to walk you through it so that you will at least have a little piece of knowledge that that's out there as an option.
Text, images, and audio are very lightweight compared to video. These devices that we have will record high-definition video. Those files take a long time to upload. So I oftentimes think it's better not to go right to video, but explore what we could do with audio and with images and with text. But we can share video. And so the challenge which we would encourage you to do, it won't be before the end of this session, but if you could do this now, start it and then upload it, we would like for you to share it, is what was one of the best new ideas that you heard at ISTE, that you learned about. Now, you do not have to record yourself. You could interview someone else. But this brings up critical conversations about privacy and permission. If I'm going to interview Peggy, I need to ask Peggy and tell her my intent. Peggy, could I interview you about your ISTE best idea? I want to publish it on YouTube. Students need to understand that, yes, even though we can take pictures and video, and we could share them online, it's very important that we not only ask permission to record, but permission with what we're going to do with it. We're going to share it on YouTube. So the recommendation that we have for you, and the app that I want to show you, is the Capture app from YouTube, which makes it very fast to upload a video. And so, Dana? Yeah. Could I interview you, Dana, to
Sure.
talk about your best idea? What I'm going to do, so the turn-in for this is going to be the same. Dean Mance has been doing some good Googling for us, and we've been trying to figure out why, where do we put in this CAPTCHA? There's something for MMS that we do, and there is a post. Okay. The good news is there is a solution to this problem, and we will find it. And we'll put that up on our website. And we saw how that worked for text, and I'll take a look at this here in a minute. But we would like for you to email that link. There's other ways, obviously, that kids can share. If you've got a class site, there's other things. But the two apps I'm going to show you right now is we're just going to use the camera app, and then we're going to use the YouTube Capture app. So, Dana, do you have your thoughts collected about what a best idea you'd like to say? Be careful not to cover up your microphone, which is on the top of your iPad, on the same side where the front-facing camera is. And it's a good idea to have one student just hold the camera and not, holding it and pushing it. So it depends. This may or may not be mirroring great. It just kind of depends on our speed. I'm going to push the button here to switch us over. I think I'll move out of the way. Why don't you just...
Oh.
There we go. So I'm on video now, and I'm going to, again, try not to cover up what? The microphone. Test your audio or your video after you take it. Play it back. Make sure you didn't cover up the microphone. I've done that before without testing it, and it's a sad thing when you got some great video, but you covered up the microphone. So I recommend that one student hold this and another one press the button. Why? You want to have both hands on the iPad. And I'd recommend a case. Why? Because you don't want to drop it. So there's a few things we're not doing here. Okay, here we go.
One of the best new ideas that I think I ran into here at ISTE 2013 is just how to empower students to not only be consumers of technology, but to actually be creators. And I think I heard that best described by the teacher not having to figure everything out ahead of time. And I so always want to do that. The idea is to pose a problem and then just put it out there and let the students be the ones that figure out not only how to solve it, but what tools would be appropriate and which technologies would be useful. If you as a teacher then need to provide some training, that's okay. But I love that approach, and that's one of the great things I have as a takeaway.
Please give Dana a hand. Yay, Dana. Okay.
Is that not the scariest part?
A couple very important things. How did you see me hold the iPad? Landscape, not portrait. All the time at sporting events and stuff, we're seeing parents holding their phone up, and you're just wasting screen space if you do that, because your video on a screen is going to letterbox on the side. Gotcha. Okay, good. You can upload from here, but what I recommend, and how many of you have used the Capture app from YouTube? Has anybody used it yet? It is a free app. It's just called Capture, and you do need to set up your YouTube account. Now, this app can be used to actually record, but the way that I typically use it is just to upload. So at the bottom, there is a little button that looks like a folder. It's on the right, and that's going to show you all the videos that are on your device. It's going to ask you to log in to your account, and why do I not want to put my password up here when I'm on the screen? This is huge. Why do I not want to do that? Because you are going to see it. Now, I've actually turned on two-step verification, so you're not going to be able to log into my account unless you have my cell phone. But it's an important thing to keep in mind, that you don't want to be putting a password in front of students. What I just did was I turned mirroring off, so mirroring was not on. How many of you use two-step verification for your Google account? Anybody?
That four hands,
Okay.
so that might be
Yeah.
something to consider.
So it's a really good thing. Why? Because it requires that you have physical access to your device in order to log in with a new program. So I just got a verification code from Google. I'm going to put it in, 505216. And
It's Google.
you know, there's your little security mini lesson for today. Turn on two-step verification. Here's the beautiful thing. There's Dana's video. It's 45 seconds long. If I want to upload it, I tap this, put in a title. I'll say Dana's ISTE lesson, and I can simply click upload in the corner now. If I would like to share that immediately to Twitter or Google+, I choose what circles I do, or Facebook, I simply tap those. I haven't connected my Facebook account, and I click share. So that video is going to go up to YouTube, and unlike iMovie, when you upload from iMovie, it will say, oh, you can't be longer than 15 minutes. Well, we can be now. You can verify your YouTube account. You might not want to do that for many videos, but this Capture app is a very good tool for quickly uploading video. Disadvantage, video is really large, and it may take a long time to be able to upload. So think about the options. Think about the choices.
Our time is up, and I want to be respectful of our schedule. We will be here up at the front to answer questions. I hope that you've had a good time. I want to thank all of you for coming, especially on the third day and late, and you should be eating lunch. So I'm going to say thank you. Thanks.
And I want to make one last plug. If you don't know about the K-12 online conference, it is a free conference that happens in October. We've got some flyers up here right by, I'll put them by the projector. And these are video presentations that are 20 minutes or less. I have learned so much from amazing teachers around the world, and all of our videos are now going to YouTube. We've had them on different places. So please pick this up. The opening keynote will be Shannon Miller from Van Meter in Iowa. Steve Hargadon and Audrey Waters will do the keynote for Open Learning. Kathy Cassidy on Outside Learning. Larry Ferlazzo on Leading Learning, and Sylvia Martinez and Gary Stager on Building Learning. So this is a completely volunteer, non-commercial deal.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Okay.